to deliver her icebreaker. Her speech will take you back to your childhood and charm you with a magical adventure. Please welcome our first speaker of the evening, presenting from Neverland to High Heels, Becca.
All right! Yeah! All right!
Who here is familiar with the story of Peter Pan? Good show of hands. For those of you who can't quite remember the tale, let me give you a brief synopsis. One night, Peter Pan returns to the home of Wendy, John, and Michael because he recently lost his shadow. When he arrives, he is completely bombarded by Wendy because she is totally fascinated by him. Peter admits he enjoys listening to her stories because they're all about him and his adventures with Captain Hook. When Wendy proceeds to tell him that there won't be any more stories because she is to grow up and change rooms, he is outraged and insists that she come to Neverland with him. In order to get to Neverland, you have to fly, which requires thinking of a happy little thought and a little bit of pixie dust. Then it's the second star on the right and straight on till morning. In Neverland, Wendy and her brothers encounter the Mermaid Lagoon, a carefree place full of silly and playful mermaids. Cannibal Cove, a rough, slightly dangerous, almost scary place, occupied by buccaneers and the legendary Captain Hook. And the Indian Camp, a place of fascination and discovery. After an eventful stay in Neverland, where Wendy, John, and Michael experience the kidnapping of Tiger Lily, adventures with the Lost Boys, and their rescue from Captain Hook and his crew by Peter Pan, the three sail home on a pixie-gilded ship. It is back at home that Wendy tells the tale of Neverland to her mother and father, and confesses after all that she is ready to grow up. Now, as many of you know, I recently turned 18. Considering most of you have already been there, you know this is time. You may even be recalling when you had long hair and experimented with shrooms in the 70s.
Thanks.
You're welcome. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was grow up. I was constantly putting on my grandma's high heels and wandering around the house with my shirt tied up in washcloth stuffed inside, yelling, "Look, Grandma, I have big boobies now!" I thought I was older than I really was. I remember wanting to hit the milestones 13, 16, and 18, because to me they each signified something new, and of course it came with different privileges. When I was in elementary school, I wanted to be in middle school. When I was in middle school, I wanted to be in high school. And then I got to high school, and I didn't want to grow up anymore. I became Wendy, and was sucked into the idea of a Neverland where growing up was not an option. I was always the one being goofy with my friends, blowing bubbles in my Coke at Steak and Shake, skipping down hallways, laughing, and making funny faces at people. I didn't want to grow up. Why would I want to do that? I was having a great time. So I flew into Neverland and spent time in the Mermaid Lagoon. These were my carefree days. I had a lot of fun. I laughed a lot. I didn't worry about the future. But then I fell into Cannibal Cove, where the waves were rough and the buccaneers were unkind. I fought Captain Hook in numerous battles, including self-esteem, health, and ultimately death. The tick-tocking of the crocodile of time was catching up with me, and I realized I was growing up. I would have to learn how to deal with this. The Indian camp, though, was by far the most interesting place. I learned more about myself, I learned more about the world I live in, and I learned about the people that I encounter every day. Between going to Largo High School as a freshman, ballroom dance competitions, my mom's remarriage after my father's death, my week and a half in the hospital, becoming a senior in high school, turning 18. I've sailed away from my childhood past in Neverland and embraced a new life as an adult in the real world. You see, in the real world, my mom can't wake me up when I sleep through my alarm. I have to pay my own bills. I have to deal with my own taxes. It's hard. But it's also exciting. And I know that I'm ready to establish my independence and create my own happiness by doing my own thing. Although I'm 18, I know that the fairy tale place of Neverland will always remain a part of me. Because let's face it, I'm Becca, and I'll always be a kid at heart.